very much.
We also have Dr. Isha Jaswal here with us. She's an associate professor and also the head of research cell DME. She has 12 years of experience spanning Delhi University and Amity University. She's also an advisor at Infinite Sum Modeling Firm, which is a global economic modeling firm. She's an external expert at the Center for Regional Trade, Ministry of Commerce. She also got Alfred Marshall Education Excellence Award 2020 in Economics, awarded by IMRF Institute of Higher Education and Research. We welcome you, ma'am, and we're delighted to have you here with us today. Before commencing the session, I would like to inform all the participants that the total time allotted to the speakers is 10 minutes. The speaker shall be allotted 8 minutes for presenting and the remaining 2 minutes for the question by the chair. With due permission of the chair, I would like to call upon our first presenter, Sri Tintu Matthew, presenting a review on negative impacts of urban sprawls on environment and sustainable urban development.
Do you have the... Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I share my screen, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I'm not able to share the screen now. Can you please permit me to share the screen?
Yes, ma'am, we are doing it. We are
Yeah.
working on it.
Please unmute Dr. Isha Jaswal also if possible. She's the co-chair.
Thank you so much. Yeah, they granted me the rights.
Myself, Assistant Professor Tintu Matthew from SNVP Law College, Pune. My topic is a review on negative impacts of urban sprawls on environment and sustainable urban development. Before starting the session, let me first of all thank the coordinators of this national symposium for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to present this paper. So we will first of all understand the concept of urban sprawl. Due to globalization, industrialization, and urbanization, people in rural areas, they transfer to urban areas for seeking better educational and employment opportunities and for improving the standard of living. And so these zones are called as transition zones, where people gradually transit from rural areas to semi-urban and urban areas. So here, one of the main impact of urban sprawl, agricultural lands undergo vital change. They will be used for non-agricultural purposes, including construction of buildings and industrial development. And urban sprawls, they occur without any development plans, and it is subjected to unrestrained growth. Urban sprawl, it occurs by expanding the existing territorial boundaries of cities. So there is uncoordinated growth and there is lack of planning. Urban sprawls are also called as dispersed urbanization or horizontal spreading. And even the governmental activities like housing activities, road construction activities will result in urban sprawls. So now we'll look into the effects of urban sprawls. As we have already discussed, urban sprawl results in deterioration of agricultural lands because these agricultural lands, they will be used for non-agricultural purposes, and as a result, it gets deteriorated. And there is excess use of land in such transition zones. And unplanned urbanization results in hike in commercial infrastructures. More commercial buildings come into existence, but there is a decline in open spaces for public and recreational facilities. So ultimately, urban sprawls results in increase of urban population and decline in rural population. It also results in pollution, many diseases and congestion, because population will be more in such transition zones. It is harmful to environment, it is harmful to ecology, and it imposes serious threat on sustainable development. So let's see what are the major environmental impacts of urban sprawls. It results in deterioration of agricultural lands because they will be used for construction activities and other non-agricultural activities. Similarly, there is an over-exploitation of natural resources in such transition zones, and so these natural resources will also diminish. And thirdly, when rural areas, when they are transferred to semi-urban and urban areas, the ecologically fragile lands which are near to such urban areas, such transition zones, will also be disturbed. Ecologically fragile lands, including the wildlife, will also get interrupted due to this transition zones. And there is over exploitation of natural resources, and as a result, there will be the environmental quality will be lost. And similarly, construction activities will be more in urban sprawls, and so it leads to noise pollution. So we have a case here, Sunil Kumar Chauk versus Secretary, Ministry of Environment and Forest, New Delhi. In this case, slum redevelopment projects in Mumbai were done without taking environmental clearance. And during the construction, parking facilities were not given, and even the recreational facilities were omitted. So National Green Tribunal in this case held that any construction activities without getting environmental clearance is a violation of right to life of urban residents. And also the bench, National Green Tribunal, imposed a fine of rupees 3 crore, and that is to be paid to the Environmental Relief Fund constituted under Public Liability Insurance Act 1991. So we can understand there is loss of natural resources, and it causes serious impacts on the environment. So it is a violation of right to life under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So I've given 3 case studies here. We have Vijayawada city in Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad city, and Mumbai. In Vijayawada city, 30 square kilometer was the area in 1988, but that was increased to 58 square kilometers later on. Then in 1980, in Hyderabad, the total area was 162 square kilometer. And by the year 1999 itself, it was increased to 404 square kilometers. So the percentage increase here is 23.89%. Similarly, in Mumbai, if we go to studies from 1972 to 2011, we can understand that in the beginning, 234 square kilometer was the area of Mumbai, and by 2011, it was increased to 156 square kilometers. And how it is done? It is by merging the nearby villages. So I conclude here, urban sprawl is having a serious impact on the environment, on the principles of sustainable development. It is also a serious threat on ecosystem and biodiversity. So here are some possible suggestions for it, because this can be resolved through introducing new urbanism principles by giving due respect to the principles of sustainable development. Again, citizens must be educated on the negative impacts of urban sprawls. Generally, the citizens, they have no knowledge on urban sprawls, and this leads to many kind of exploitations. And again, community actions shall be initiated. People in rural areas, they shall become competent enough to challenge any local projects which are detrimental to environment. And also, if you go to United Kingdom, we can see that smart growth system is there in UK, and it is otherwise called compact city or urban densification. So what they do is all the facilities like medical facilities and educational facilities and neighborhood schools, everything will be brought together in one single area. So this type of use is called as mixed use developments. So that's all. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you. You kept your time very well, so much appreciated, and other speakers
Thank you, ma'am.
will hopefully follow your example. It's interesting you looked at the UK at the end, and I wonder how far you can take something that's in a very different country and apply it in India.
It is just given as an example, though we cannot implement that mixed use development as effective as UK, but we can make some modifications in whatever system that we have here. So in India, this urbanization is implemented without any planning. So that is a major reason of failure of this urbanization. So we have to maintain the principles of sustainable development, and eco-friendly standards have to be adopted for construction activities and for increasing the area of urban side.
Thank you. It's very, very interesting. Have my fellow panelists got any other questions?
Yeah, Ms. Matthew, what is the source of your information? You have not mentioned. Is it secondary data or it's a primary data? If you could give us some.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it is in the references. It's listed. Actually, I feel so. That is, it is basically this studies. It is taken from surveys. Many surveys were conducted in different cities, and from the surveys initiated by Indian government, it is found that these areas are being extended without proper planning.
Thank you for your answer. If I may suggest that when you make presentations and you show transparencies of the slides, if you can mention the source so that the source is properly acknowledged. This is just a suggestion for your food for thought.
Definitely, sir. For next time, I'll be showing the source also. Thank you, sir.
It was a great presentation. I just have one input. If you can also look into the problem of migration, rural-urban migration, that might actually add value to your paper, and maybe you can, suggest better solutions. Because I believe one of the major problems for the occurrence of these urban sprawls is also related to the migration from rural to the urban areas, and ultimately connecting it to the employment issues there. So maybe, I am not sure, but I believe you might get some better solutions if you look into that aspect and add it to your paper.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Most welcome.
Okay, thank you. I think we're ready for our next speaker.
Thank you for your presentation, ma'am. Moving on to our next presenter, we have Ms. Priyanka Vaidyanath and Ms. Megha Jain presenting a stride between sustainability and sustainable development, a case of blockchain technology.
Excuse me, ma'am, sorry to interrupt here. The second presenter is myself, it's Ritika Ganadhar.
Ma'am, you are not clearly audible.
Ma'am, am I audible now? This is Kritika Dhanapal from Tamil Nadu. I guess I am the second presenter as per the schedule. So just wanted to confirm.
I'll take you as a second one. Up next we have Ms. Kritika D presenting their paper on environmental repercussions owing to the crypto mining.
Yes. I hope my voice is audible and my video is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Warm good afternoon to respected chairperson and to all the presenters present here. With the permission of the chairperson, can I share my PPT screen? Yeah, thank you. I hope my screen. Is my screen visible, the host?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So with the permission of the chairperson, I would like to begin my presentation. And before that, I would like to introduce myself. Myself Kritika Dhanapal, and I'm working as Assistant Professor of Law in Government Law College, Tamil Nadu. And I'm also a research scholar doing research in the area of cryptocurrency at VIT School of Law, VIT Chennai, Tamil Nadu. And the topic which I've selected for today's presentation is about the environmental repercussions owing to crypto mining. So what are the environmental impact of cryptocurrency, not only in India, but generally in the entire environment. So before getting into the environmental aspect, I just wanted to give some insights as to what is cryptocurrency. So just to have an idea about and the basic knowledge about what is cryptocurrency. So as everyone know, cryptocurrency in general and Bitcoin, which is very popular form of cryptocurrency, are the most discussed topics in recent time. And cryptocurrencies are considered to be one form of virtual currency, which are in electronic form, and they are protected by cryptography, and they are used to peer-to-peer transaction payment. So by the very meaning of the term crypto, it means it is hidden. It is not acknowledging openly. And see, simply to explain what is cryptocurrency is a kind of algorithm. It's a kind of complex code system, or it's like a puzzle where upon the solvation of the puzzle the cryptocurrency gets generated. So who first of all invented this so-called cryptocurrency or the Bitcoin is that the so-called person name is Satoshi Nakamoto. We do not know the identity of the person in the we do not know whether this person is a male or a female or an individual or a group of individuals, but the identity is anonymous. And this concept was started only in late 2008. On October 31st, 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto came up with a white paper called Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer e-cash system. So the basic technology that works behind cryptocurrency is called the blockchain technology. So it's a kind of open ledger distributed system where all the transactions gets saved in the network. And the process of creation of cryptocurrency is called the mining. As we all know that Bitcoin is just one form of cryptocurrency, and as in February 2022, we have nearly 17,000 plus private cryptocurrencies which are in market. And coming to the acceptance of this cryptocurrency, if we see the acceptance of cryptocurrency is steadily increasing among various industries and in various countries. If we take El Salvador, which is a Central American country, as adopted Bitcoin as a legal tender, and in India, if we see nearly 15 million to 20 million people have invested in cryptocurrency, around 400 billion rupees in cryptocurrency. So coming to the regulation aspect, if we see the regulation aspect, there is a lot of disparities that exist among countries. As in India, cryptocurrency is not illegal. At the same time, it is not legal as well. So what are the environmental impact of cryptocurrency? If we see, this technology has a price for it, which is being paid by our planet. So how crypto working actually impact environment is that I have identified three main issues. The first one is a decentralization concept. Cryptocurrency works basis on decentralization where no middleman is involved. Since no middleman is involved, high computational power is required to maintain the network. So this is the first and foremost issue. And the second one is a crypto mining. The mining is the process where the transaction has to be validated using a specialized high-hand computer system, and the people who are involved in this process, they are called as miners. So whoever solves the puzzle first, they will be rewarded, and the concerned cryptocurrencies gets generated. So there is a heavy competition among many miners to solve the algorithm or the puzzle, so that the cryptocurrency first gets generated, and they are rewarded a certain number of cryptocurrencies as reward. So crypto mining, where the high specialized computer systems or rigs are involved, it poses a serious environmental threat. And the third reason which I have identified is the unregulated market. Since no country has any law with respect to the regulation of cryptocurrency, it becomes a high place of exploitation where there are resources are at uneven cost. So countries which give more cheaper electricity, there they use more crypto mining is going on. For example, China is a place where we get cheap electricity using the burning of fossil fuel, and by which the crypto mining rate is very high when we look at China. And that is the reason why recently China has banned crypto mining in order to protect its environment. And what coming to the crypto damages? So what are the damages which is caused because of crypto to the environment? I have identified two tools which has been developed for estimating the environmental impact of or the energy consumption of cryptocurrency. And these tools are developed by the Bitcoin network called the Cambridge Bitcoin Electricity Consumption Index, which is developed by the University of Cambridge. And the another tool is developed by Digi Economist, which is called the Bitcoin Energy Consumption Index. So Bitcoin actually consumes more energy because specialized computers are required, which those specialized computers or the rigs require high electricity. And electricity are generated using the burning of fossil fuels. And lot of non-renewable sources of energy is used in order to run the computers. So this is causing a high energy consumption of crypto mining, which is causing an environmental threat. And the second environmental threat is the generation of lot of e-waste. Since specialized computers are required for the purpose of crypto mining, updated version need to be utilized. So the electronic systems gets outdated often, and this is hereby increasing the generation of e-waste. And the next environmental threat is the carbon footprints. So these the cryptocurrencies generate carbon footprints due to the energy consumption, where energy comes from the burning of fossil fuel, and this not only increases the carbon emission, but it also increases the greenhouse gas emission, and also a lot of other toxic elements are also being emitted, which is affecting the air quality and the human health. And the next environmental hazard is the climate change. So because of high energy consumption is required, thereby carbon footprints are being emitted. And also a lot of systems are being used, computer systems are used, which is generating huge amount of heat. So all this is increasing the climate temperature, and thereby this is increasing the global warming above 2 degrees Celsius. And not only the above environmental impact, there is also another point which needs consideration, is that crypto working is also not a safe thing. It is causing a kind of hazard not only to the human being involved there, but also to the building, because high amount of heat and electricity is required. Lot of high amount of heat is being generated by the system, which is also causing a security threat. So coming to the suggestion and the conclusion of my paper. So this is how the cryptocurrency impact the environment. So the 3 points which I've covered, and the crypto damages are the climate change, the carbon footprint, generation of waste, everything. And coming to the suggestion. So what is the suggestion which I suggest from my research paper is that more sustainable mode of mining should be carried out using the renewable source of energy rather than using the non-renewable source of energy. And we can also make use of the wasted energy, like we have the old power plants left, so those energies can be utilized. And the another suggestion from my end is that we have to carry out the crypto mining where we get cheap energy available is there. So the geographical distribution of mining pool should be such that in whichever country we have less or cheap electricity is available, where the electricity is generated using renewable resources, those areas the crypto mining pool should be encouraged. And the another suggestion is, the main reason for this energy consumption is the process called as proof of work, which is a technical aspect. So instead of going for proof of work, we can go for proof of stake system, or the proof of useful work, where instead of having a competition among the miners, they can save the cryptocurrencies, and on a random basis, whoever gets the chance, they can get the opportunity of mining the crypto. And the another suggestion is using the artificial intelligence into the process of crypto mining. And the technology developers and the computer scientists have to come forward and come up with algorithm with are less energy hungry, and we have to come up with green crypto concept. And yes, as always, we are not supposed to neglect any technology's environmental impact. So we have
Can
to
you
come up
bring
with
it
the
to an
energy.
end, because you're reaching into your
Yes, ma'am.
question time?
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. So, so coming to the conclusion, I would say that there are a lot of efforts which has been carried out by different countries, where recently China has banned the crypto mining concerning taking into account of the environmental impact. And also there are a lot of other councils like Bitcoin Mining Council and Crypto Climate Accord has been formed in order to reduce the environmental impact. So the companies which are into this business, I guess the polluter pays principle need to be applied. So those companies which generate more cryptocurrency should be taxed accordingly, and there is a need for collaboration between the technologists and the lawmakers in order to bridge the mismatch that is existing. And it is the need of the hour where the government has to invest time and invest research in this
Excuse me,
area, so
ma'am.
that they have to come up with the laws.
The time
Yes,
has exceeded 2 minutes.
yes, ma'am.
You have to-
Thank you so much for the opportunity to the organizer and to the chairperson. Yes, ma'am.
Just say your organization.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for the presentation, ma'am. I request all
Thank
the
you.
professors. I request all the professors to kindly give their feedback.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking of when I was listening to the paper, and so suggestions such as use of tax, different ways of validating the blockchain, is the difficulty of regulating this area. So if you were if a tax system was to be imposed, are there any difficulties that you could foresee? And how would it be?
Yes, ma'am. It is not that the companies has to be definitely taxed when they are into the crypto mining. My point was that the polluter pays principle has to be applied. So once the company is more into this business, then they have to be accountable for the environmental hazard which has been caused by them. So that doesn't mean that companies can just come up, pay the tax, and then harm the environment. So that is not the motto of my suggestion. The idea would be to make the polluter themselves liable, so that they will be stopped from further harming the environment.
In which country would that liability be imposed?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, this is a area which is not confined to any jurisdiction. So before proceeding into any environmental aspect, there is a need of the global consensus is the need of the hour actually, ma'am. So the international community has to come forward and then take necessary and effective steps to regulate this area. So that is foremost required before we get into the protection of environmental aspect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Dhanapal, so your objection, or you're saying the problem is because of cryptocurrency, or is it because of blockchain? Who's the culprit?
It is a crypto mining, sir. It
So
is a
suppose
crypto
crypto
mining
mining
process.
Suppose the mining was not based upon crypto. Suppose the mining was not based upon blockchain. Hypothetically.
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, actually, the working of cryptocurrency is based upon the blockchain technology.
I
So
know
there
that.
is-
I know that. I know
Yes,
that.
sir.
So
So
suppose you're saying that if cryptocurrency, see, nobody would have asked you this question till now, because I'm on the board of a new company which is coming over the crypto. Okay, in Pune, right? So suppose cryptocurrency, I'm asking you a question. It's a creative question, so I'm looking for a creative answer. Suppose cryptocurrency was not based upon blockchain. Is it possible, first of all?
So this is the area where I have to do research for this, because this is the first time I'm just facing this question. I'll just have.
I'm a novice, because I've been asking this question to many people. Nobody has answered me. Perhaps we will Google it more. So thank you. It was a good presentation. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you need to look into proof of stake blockchains. It's a proof of work that's really energy cost intensive.
You're right, Professor.
Thank you for the presentation. It was very interesting. Just one
Thank you,
thing
ma'am.
where you
Yeah.
had mentioned that probably renewable energy might be an alternative. My only contention here is that renewable energy isn't, as strong or a perfect substitute to non-renewable energy in this case or not. That also needs to be looked into with regards to the suggestion that you've given.
Sure, ma'am. Definitely.
That's it was a insightful presentation. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, professors. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for your presentation, ma'am. Moving on to our next presenter, we have Ms. Priyanka Pedanath and Ms. Megha Jain presenting a stride between sustainability and sustainable development. A case of blockchain technology.
Good morning to the panelists. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
you're
we
audible.
can hear you.
Thank you. The topic that we are focusing on is the strife between the blockchain, between the sustainable development and sustainability of blockchain technology, because we have heard also from the previous presentation that blockchain technology might be environmentally, it has a negative impact on environment. So our paper, apart from focusing on the negative impact, also looks into what are the positive ways where we can use blockchain technology from giving alternatives to the proof of work system. So the roadmap of our presentation is where my co-speaker will speak about the introduction and the ill effects of blockchain technology, wherein later I will take over with regard to the positive impact of blockchain technology. Yeah, hi, good morning, good afternoon to all the panelists here and the esteemed members. My name is Megha, so I will take in the introduction of blockchain and then speak of the negative impact of blockchain. So essentially to explain what blockchain is in layman terms, what happens, suppose if the people here, 5 panelists here and the 2 of us enter into a transaction. Let us take the example of a financial transaction wherein we are money is exchanging our hands. So what happens if money has gone from me to my co-author? All right. So this becomes one transaction, and this transaction is a block. Now, if she transfers money, say part of the money or the whole of the money to another person here, one of the panelists, that becomes another transaction. Now, this transaction is called a block. Now, block 1 and block 2, they get connected via a chain. And similarly, how many of our transactions are there in this loop? How many of our members are there as a part of this transaction? All the transactions in the form of blocks, they keep getting connected through a chain, and then they go and sit. That becomes a blockchain, and this is a decentralized system. Essentially, what happens, any person who is part of this block can access the chain of transaction. There is, no opacity in the transaction, very transparent system. And this transparency, this decentralized system, here nobody controls the information. Vis-a-vis in a traditional financial system, wherein banks keep all the information private and centralized. So this is one of the biggest advantages of blockchain that is being touted, so that there is more transparency and the chance of people committing any online fraud reduces considerably. So this essentially is blockchain, and what example I gave is only one stream. I gave an example of finance. We can apply the same logic to various other fields. Now we will move on talking about the history of blockchain. The term blockchain or Bitcoin, which are used interchangeably, though they gained prominence in the year 2008, their history goes back to the year 1970. In 1970, there a professor by the name Mr. Merkle, he came up with the concept of Merkle tree. So wherein a Merkle tree, wherein immutably chaining information. So what he did is he tried using the cryptographic system to chain all information together. And he, with the hash function, and he got some success there. Then cut to 1982, wherein we had the vault system. So under the vault system, as the name suggests, what they did is they established, maintained a computer system into groups wherein information was stored there. Then in 1991, we had time stamping of documents, so that it becomes more foolproof. If a document is time stamped, then it can be arranged chronologically, and again the chances of an online fraud, the chances of fraud or the chances of information being misplaced was reduced. Then finally in 2008, we had a white paper on blockchain. So this white paper said that crypto, Bitcoin, they used the underlying technology of blockchain, and they came up with Bitcoin, and that is where the bubble came up, and people became more familiarized with the concept of blockchain and Bitcoin both. Here it was defined as a peer-to-peer system, wherein all the people of the transaction could come in together, and it would be a decentralized system. Now, we do not know who came up with this, because they were either that individual or those group of people, they came under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. All right. And then from there, the advent of cryptocurrency and the various other aspects of blockchain began. My co-host will speak on the effects of blockchain, the positive effects, but I will concentrate on the negatives. So we'll first move on to positive, then come to negatives. So focusing on the positive impact of blockchain, that is in terms of sustainable development, we have focused on few case studies and also examples as to where the blockchain can be used for positive impact. So first, I would like to bring you your notice about the Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, which talks about internationally transferred mitigating outcomes, wherein the countries can, in furtherance of nationally determined contributions, can exchange their carbon credits as well in furtherance of in furtherance of carbon dioxide equivalent metric. So in terms of this ITMOS, as I will pronounce, has no transparency and accountability to realize what is this carbon exchange that is happening between two countries. So in case of blockchain technology is brought in with regard to this aspect, in COP26, two organizations by the name Blockchain for Climate Foundation and Cointelegraph brought this concept of BITMOS, that is blockchain for internationally transferred mitigation outcome, where they focus on engaging and exchanging ITMOS, which makes it more transparent and it makes it accountable as to what the two countries are looking forward in terms of exchanging carbon credits. I will next focus on to the aspect of farming over mining. Even our esteemed previous speaker also spoke about the aspect of mining in furtherance of proof of work. But now an organization by name Chia has come up with an alternative for proof of work by the name farming. So farming, because it is more sustainable in terms of its environmental impact. Now farming looks into the proof of space and time, wherein you don't need a huge amount of electricity in furtherance of this, in furtherance of the aspect of mining. Proof of farming also uses 500 times lesser energy consumption in terms of its network size, and also 14 times lesser power than the state of art which is used in the Bitcoin mining. Now, farming, the technology that is used here is we only need huge amount of hard disk which has higher capacity rather than an ongoing electricity which is used in the proof of mining. Now, this can be another alternative as well, wherein we use a larger capacity of hard drive. Now, there can be a question, but that is hard drive may not be reusable. But we are looking into hard drive as such, wherein a huge amount of data is used and can be the data can be overwritten as and when one transaction is done away with. Now, apart from this, I would also like to bring in your bring your attention with regard to water management system, which proved very effective to get over with to prevent drought in US, wherein Sacramento River, which is a groundwater source for Southern California and San Francisco, they used blockchain technology with regards to the groundwater source available with the different stakeholders, that is the farmers, farmers, regulators, and financiers, wherein they knew what is the amount of groundwater which can be used in furtherance of farming as well. So this made them utilize the groundwater judiciously, so that they ensured that they could prevent drought. Now, in furtherance of the similar line, IBM has been successful with regard to food safety management. They looked into the shelf life of food from where it is being produced till the end consumer, so that they can track it on each level, so that the shelf life is also maintained and is also reaches the end consumer. Taking over. Yeah. Now
you're running into you've already done 8 minutes, which is the time allowed. So can you sum up, please?
Yes, ma'am. I'll sum up in a minute. So now I will, talk about the negative impacts. So basically, one of the largest.
No, please sum up rather than continue.
Yes, ma'am. Just summing up. The largest area of crypto is the energy consumption. So here our suggestion is, so we can focus more on farming and more alternative ways, wherein we can compare the advantages of the energy consumption of blockchain technology vis-a-vis the traditional systems, and then we can go about using this technology in a more sustainable manner. Open to questions.
Okay, thank you, and thanks for bringing the paper to an end when requested. I was interested in this process of farming. What exactly does that entail, and why is it that the costs of energy of that are so much less than proof of work?
Ma'am, so in case of proof of work, they would need ongoing electricity to maintain the computer. Now, there are estimations that one supercomputer which focuses on proof of work requires electricity equivalent to what Sweden as such use. Now, in contrast, when I speak of farming, we don't need such an ongoing electricity. We would need a high storage computer device, a normal laptop with a high storage device. And we don't need such ongoing electricity. This way, the electricity consumption is also equivalent to what we use on a daily basis with regard to our laptops and computers.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and the problem with proof of work is, of course, that you've got many computers competing to be the ones to solve. So it's not just one computer that's on. It's
Also, ma'am, if I may add in, farming is something which is, slowly developing. Currently, there are not more than 2-3 miners at least, which has come in the light of media that, they are, so as and when we make more progress, it is, bound to reduce the energy consumption in one way or another. So there is continuous work going on in the field of farming.
Okay, thank you.
How is this magnitude of energy which is used? How is it made available? Is it a declaration by the cryptocurrency? How do we know that how much electricity is consumed by which chain?
So, sir, first of all, there are two sources. One is there's a group. It is called the Digiconomist group. So they have a website wherein they track the data on a real time, the energy which is being consumed by blockchain technology, or essentially in blockchain, more specifically by these crypto miners, that energy consumption is tracked on a real time. So even today, whatever data we presented in our paper, if we go and check that data, it would have changed because it is tracking it real time. At the same time, there UN is continuously, doing studies to analyze how much energy blockchain is taking away. Like recently in 2021, the UN organization, they came up with a paper harnessing blockchain for sustainable development. So we have continuous studies and which are being done by the UN authority and under them various other climate institutes. So the data is collated from there.
No, because see how much data a particular blockchain is consuming, only the blockchain is privy to that. So are they voluntarily declaring it? It is not possible for a third party to track the
Yes,
electricity
yes,
consumption of an independent blockchain. So are they voluntarily declaring it?
So here it is the estimate that we are making. So if we were to, yes, it is based on estimates. We don't have 100% certain data there.
But do we have 50% estimate? How do we know it is 20% true?
Yes, sir, because these climate organizations which are doing these studies, they are, talking to miners. Also, they have spoken to them and then they've come up with these estimates, because to make the estimates just like that would be very vague. So they are, actually, they've considered their opinions. And
okay, Priyanka and Megha, your presentation is very good. Let me say that. Very excellent presentation. As a suggestion, you can carry out primary research on this. I personally believe with all my studies that all this data of blockchain being a threat or being responsible for using the electrical resources, this is not based upon much data, right? This is not based upon much data. And a comparison can be, let us take the case of a traditional bank. So we are comparing the energy used by the bank servers vis-a-vis the energy used by the blockchain computers. This is an unfair comparison, because to set up a banking, energy is consumed by 10,000 employees, by the way they commute to work, by the way they write emails. So I believe, this is my educated guess, that there is a lobby to run down currency. I may be wrong, because I've been asking people, I've been writing mails. Nobody has been able to give me a convincing answer on this. So I request youngsters to take it up, please.
Definitely, sir. Thank you.
Great presentation, thanks. And I would rather like to go back and read more on crypto farming. Thanks for introducing them. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your presentation, ma'am. Next, we have Ms. Prerna Tamhankar presenting on women directors and corporate social responsibility, a bibliometric analysis. Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Okay, so if Ms. Prerna is not there, let's move on to the next presenter. Calling upon our next presenter, we have our next presenter, Viraj Harjeevan Bhai Rathod, presenting on green accounting, a study of disclosure practices and its impact on financial performance of selected Indian companies.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Presenter,
could.
please unmute yourself.
Just a minute, ma'am. I'm on mute.
We can hear you, but you're very quiet.
Yes, ma'am. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Ma'am, you're not audible. Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
Am
we
I
can hear
audible
you,
now?
but you're quiet.
Now you're audible.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Now you're audible.
Okay. Thank you for giving this opportunity to present my research paper on green accounting. Without wasting much time, I would like to start first. Is the screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, we can see your slide.
Okay, okay. Actually, I'm using my mobile phone because my laptop is not working properly. So sorry for that. Let me start with the introduction. First of all, the title is Green Accounting, a study of disclosure practices and its impact on financial performance of selected Indian companies. Green accounting is is not a new word, but still it is considering as an emerging topic or as an emerging concept. We are thinking that the businesses are nowadays not only limited to the economical growth, but they are also thinking on the environmental growth. And for that, the economist Professor Peter Wood have given the concept in earlier 1980s about this environmental environment. That is simply nowadays called green accounting. But we have in our Indian ancient Indian Rig Veda and Manu Upanishad, Maha Upanishad, the phrase that says Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means the whole world is a family. The Indian society, culture, and devotees have continued to believe that the nature or the environment is a god, and every living being on the earth is an incarnation of God. Man must protect the environment and the earth and limit the usage of non-renewable resources to be able to provide the same to the next generation. And that emerges the concept of sustainable development. Our common future, the Brundtland report defines the sustainable development as the needs of present generation without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs, the development itself. More than a century before this term, the sustainable development have been used, and it has appeared for the first time in the meantime in the year 1987. We know that is the basic base for the United Nations Conference on the Environment and Development that had been held in the Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in the year 1992. They taken this word as a solution of environmental degradation problems that is discussed in the Brundtland report, Brundtland Commission report in the year 1987. So the main goal of the sustainable development is to ensure a society where the living conditions and the resources are continue to meet the human needs without weakening the environment. And the significance of this environment, health, protection, conservation are redefining the term growth. And ultimately, it emerges the concept of the green accounting. Green accounting, yes. Green accounting using, here I'm stating this concept of the green accounting. Green accounting will help the organization to identify the resource utilization and the cost incurred on the ecosystem by the activities of industries. Companies are incorporating a new concept of environmental environment in their business operations, and green accounting will help the organization to measure the cost and benefits that is rendered by their operations to the environment. Globally, there is a growing trend towards the business providing economics, environment, and social information into a public domain through sustainability reports. And it also increases the business performance through the communication of information with the shareholders, stakeholders. It is a key purpose of the sustainability reporting that the organization will identify the cross-cutting dimension of triple bottom line performance and to understand the process of measuring and reporting. And also it will improve the business decisions, which will benefit them in long run. Green accounting initiative is a leading Green Accounting Initiative, that is GRI, is a leading reporting practices that a leading organization can directly use it, and they can present their data through these reports. GRI promotes the use of sustainability reporting as a way for the organization to become the more sustainable and contribute to the sustainable development. Green account. Here these are the components of green accounting: the environmental policy, health, safety, environment, energy conservation, corporate sustainability, environmental initiative, sustainability reporting, water management, waste management, renewable energy resources, environmental performance information system, environmental disclosure practices, environmental targets, reporting indicators, cost and benefits, liabilities and assets. I have considered this topic by this many literature reviews and to find out the main objectives, that first of all to provide the overview of green accounting and its various components, to give an outline of a disclosure policies of India. As I said earlier in Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the Upanishad itself says that we Indian believes that the environment is a God, and we are here for the protection of that. First of all, in the year 1993, United Nations first issued a handbook of the system of integrated environment and economic accounting, that is SEEA. And in Indian Constitution also has an Article 51A of Directive Principles that says that it is the duty of every Indian citizen to protect, conserve, and improve the natural environment, including the forests, rivers, lakes, wildlife, and have a compassion for the living creatures. Since 1948, India has a list of acts considering the environment, and later in the year 1986, Environment Protection Act came into existence after the Bhopal gas tragedy, considering the various laws, rules, provision, and amendments on regular basis. First announcement regarding this green accounting was made in the year 1991. The Ministry of Environment and Forest has proposed that every company shall report about the particulars of the steps taken and steps taken towards the adoption of clean technologies, prevention of pollution, water savings, waste minimization, waste recycling, utilization, pollution control measures, investments they have taken on the environment protection, and the impact of their measures on waste reduction, water and other resources conservation. Union Ministry of Environment and Forest has issued various instructions also. And nowadays, it is mandatory for every company to present data which they are the contribution they are giving to the society, the environment. And for that, they have given a set of information. That is what type of devices they have installed for the pollution control purpose, the steps they have taken for the conservation of energy, the optimization of the resources, the steps for the decomposition of wastage, and the steps they have taken for improvement of quality of the product. So from this many disclosure policy data, I have found out the major two research objective for my research paper, that is the analysis of green accounting disclosure impact of the financial performance of Indian corporates that I have selected, and find out whether the adoption of this GRI concept is profitable or not. Because ultimately the business motto is about profit, and if it is profitable, then only businesses will adopt it easily. So I have selected 10 leading companies of India, that is Adani Enterprise, Reliance Industries, Dabur India, Bharti Airtel, Bharat Petroleum, Gas Authority of India, Bharat Heavy Electronics, Tata Consultancy, Wipro Limited, and Steel Authority India Limited. This 10 companies from the list of the companies that are listed on NSE and Nifty 50 index. Yes, ma'am.
Your time is up, ma'am.
Hello. Yes.
So, ma'am, you need to conclude. Your time is up. You need to come to the concluding slide.
Okay. Fine. So from this 10 selected companies, I have considered financial performance measurements are cash flow, profit margin, return on capital employed, return on assets. And for green accounting disclosures, I have considered green accounting initiative, environment performance rating. And this is the research model. And from this research model, I can conclude that from this study, we found that the total profit margin or the overall revenue data of the Indian companies are highly influenced by the green accounting disclosures and environment performance practices. It means that after the adoption of this GRI policy will be profitable for the companies itself, and it will definitely improve the financial performance for that. These are the limitations that I have selected only 10 listed companies, and I have considered only financial performance, but I can say I have the limitation of the time, and so I ignore the market-based measurement for the financial performance. So that's all for this. Thank you. I myself, Viraj Rathore, Assistant Professor of Government Arts and Commerce College, Babra, Amreli, Gujarat, and I am the research scholar of Gujarat University, and I am resting this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's an interesting paper. I take it from what you were saying that this would be a voluntary thing for companies to adopt rather than something that should be written into corporate governance soft laws.
Hello.
Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah. So far as the adoption of green accounting is concerned, would that be something that was voluntary for firms, or would you see that it should be written into corporate governance codes and corporate social responsibility codes?
One thing I found is that
You're not audible.
Hello? Am I audible?
Oh, no, ma'am, still not audible.
Hello, now am I audible?
Yes, that's
Yes, ma'am.
better.
One thing I found that the adoption of this GRI policy is still not mandatory for the companies. These listed companies are presenting their data on GRI and environmental basis on their voluntary level. So if it became mandatory or compulsory for every Indian companies, then it will definitely highly affect to the environment, because industry is the main. I can see industry is the highly affecting sector to the environment. So if we are going for this environment protection purpose, then I must suggest that the GRI should be mandatory, so that the global level data can be measured, and it will it will reflect the best performance of the organization.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
No, I have no questions. Thank you, Viraj.
Oh, thank you, Sudhir sir.
Thanks, Viraj. Thanks for your presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, ma'am. Proceeding with the next presentation, we have Ms. Vidisha Chatterjee, Distribution of Shares of Energy Intensive Industries in India, a Decomposition Analysis.
Is the presentation visible?
Not yet.
Yet.
Yes, is it visible?
Yes, now.
Yes, yes. If you can put it on a slide.
Yes. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, dignitaries. Myself, Vidisha Chatterjee, research scholars from University of Burdwan, Economics Department. Today, my topic for presentation is distribution of shares of energy-intensive industries in India, decomposition analysis. Now, in recent times, development of sustainability is an important issue in every nation across the globe, and several governments' policies are focusing on climate change and several energy efficient methods which can lower down the energy consumption and thereby cut down the energy intensity. Now we know that fossil energy is a necessity in a modern era, and all the basic sectors of any economy mainly depends upon the availability of the fossil energy, both for purpose of production and consumption. Now India is the third largest consumer of fossil energy in the world, while the manufacturing sector of India also consumes about 58% of total India's final energy consumption. Therefore, our paper examines the severity of increasing energy intensity in the Indian manufacturing sector from 1980 to 2016, based on the previous reviews, literature reviews, where we actually, while we follow the data from time series data from 1980 to 2016, that is a decadal time series data, we will find that initially the energy intensity was quite high for the Indian manufacturing sector. But after 2000 onwards, we find that there are certain improvement in the technologies and energy improvement in the energy efficient resources, which helps in declining the energy efficiency of the industries. But after 2010 onwards, if we find the data, we will see that suddenly it again start increasing over years. So previous literatures have several views regarding the structural changes, hike in the uses of energy efficient technologies over time, which has declined the energy intensity of industries. But after 2010 also, Goldar has suggested that due to fall in energy prices, energy consumption or energy intensity has increased. But we should also know
Sorry,
that
you're still on your first slide, and I see you've got 32 of them. Do you want to move them on? we've only got your introduction slide, and you've made a nice PowerPoint presentation that we were missing out on.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so now following the literature surveys, and then we find
Your slides are not your slide. Are you still on the first slide, or have you
changed? I have changed.
Yeah, so your slides are not changing. We can we can view the first slide only, the introduction. Yeah.
So
Perhaps you should put.
Yes.
Maybe you should put them on presentation mode. It will become more visible and it will change, right?
So I'm doing the slide share. Is it changing?
It's still on introduction.
Oh, so kindly help what to.
You can reshare it again, and if it is not working, nevertheless, you can continue with the presentation.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it changing?
I suggest you summarize it in your stipulated time, even if you are not able to share the screen. It is changing now, of course.
It's changing. Okay, thank you, sir. So I have used the annual service of industries to study the time series data for the manufacturing sectors of India from 1980 to 2016. We have used the energy intensity of industry by calculating the fuel cost of ith period by the value of output. That is one method. And the second is energy intensity, that is fuel cost divided by the GVA at the constant prices. Now, we have used two methods in determining the respective boundaries of energy intensive industries into different classes. That is high, very high, medium, low, very low. So these are the different classes of energy intensive industries, and accordingly we have used two methods. First is the average plus minus standard deviation rule method, and the second is the percentile method. And finally I have done a cost tabulation analysis to show the absolute and relative changes in the energy intensive industries. Why so? Because we have to find that whether the shares of the energy intensive industries are going down, or their relative energy intensity, that is the secular trend, is coming down. So following the method one, using the first average plus minus standard deviation, the number of energy intensive industries following EI1 means energy intensity divided by output. So not going to the other classes, just visualizing on the VH class and comparing with the L and M class, we find that of course majority of the industries, or the high amount of industries, are in the L and M class. But within the VH class also, we can see that the number of industries is increasing years after year, that is with decades. So it is following in however it is following an increasing trend. Then here the question comes that after 2010, suddenly the energy intensity of the industries has gone above in the Indian context. Similarly for this EI2 also I have calculated the same, which follows the same trend. Then the share of GVA. Share of GVA of L and M class, it's of course it is a high, but within the VH class, it is from 25% to 9%. It has declined after 2010, but after 2010, it has increased to 17.5. So this is for the EI2, that is for the second method. And then we are using the equal group rule, that is a percentile rule, where we have 4 classes, and the trend or the results are almost similar, where M and L classes are having the maximum number of industries, but within the VH class, it is continuously increasing, mainly after 2010. So similarly for the shares of GVA and for EI1, EI2, it's quite natural that the result is similar. Then, so what is our outcome from these tables? That using the both methods, we find that over years from 1980 to 2016, L energy intensive class comprises of the maximum number of industries, followed by the M, While the VH in energy intensive class, we find that during this 1980 to 2016, the class follows an increasing trend over years. However, the percentage share of the GVA share of L classes remains the highest. Now, to scale down the direct relationship between economic growth and climate change, researchers across the globe, on the one hand, are trying to bring out solutions to cut down the energy intensity of various related sectors. On the other hand, to improve the economic growth of different sectors in a country, and they are increasing their output limit at the cost of increase in energy consumption. However, we have energy efficient techniques which have proved to be effective in lowering down the energy intensity in several energy consuming sectors. Now, therefore, it is also necessary to examine the growth of relative and absolute shares of the energy intensive classes so far as to determine whether absolute energy intensity has declined over years or the shares of energy intensive industries have declined over years. And therefore, what is the specific environmental impact over years? So we have used the cost tabulation using the both relatives and the absolute shares. Here for the absolute shares, we have the benchmark, where the benchmark is the weighted mean and average standard deviation of sum total of outputs and GPA all the time periods. That is from 1980 to 2016. So this is the cross tabulation result between 1980 to 2000. Not ignoring all the other classes, just if we visualize the VH, the VL. So VL classes from 1980 to 2000, 16 industries remain in the class of VL, but 3 industries have gone too far in their energy intensities, so they have shifted to VH class. Similarly, 8 industries has continued over years in the VH class. Okay, so this is for the relative share. Then for the absolute share also, 13 industries have. Yes.
Oh, ma'am, your time is up.
Okay, 13 industries have shifted to the continued in the VH class. So now these are the several years, that is 2016, 2000, 2016. So 2000 using both the methods, that is absolute share trend, relative share trend, and this is for 1980, 2016. Here also we find that 10 industries continue to be in the VH class. Similarly, 12 industries is continue to be in the VH class over years, that is for 1980 to 2016. Now, this is the table which shows that how many.
Sorry, can you sum up, because you've been told your time is up, and you to get to your conclusion.
Okay, ma'am. So this is the table which shows how many has increased, how many is remaining stagnant, and how many has declined their energy intensity. Now, and here also we are summing up the fuel consumption, value of output, energy intensity, share of output. For I have divided that 1980, 2000, 2016. Now, we to see the impact of growth of energy intensity on environment, I have used some decomposition analysis using this formula, where we see that the growth of energy intensity during the 1980 to 2000 is positive for the higher class, and their growth of share is also positive, which has a high impact on the environment. If we move to 2010, 2016, we found growth of energy intensity is high for the H class, but their growth of share has declined, so which will have a negligible impact on environment. But if we consider the above studies and examine the that energy intensity of majority of Indian industries shows a decline in the secular trend over years, at least after the 2000, but the percentage share of output by the VH industries have consistently positive in their classes. So as a result, its impact can be more cautious if we move the data towards the recent times, which is a matter of concern and needs the proper policy implementations to lower down their energy intensities to a greater extent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't think I have any questions.
So do you have any questions? Professor Bish?
Hello. Hello, actually, I seem to have, am I still there?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain the title when you say decomposition analysis? What does it mean, please? Sorry, Vidisha, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yes, sir.
See, I'll be honest with you. I heard you with rapt attention, but because of my own inadequacy, I was not able to really, because the subject is alien to me. So you will forgive me for this. Yeah. So it's not your fault, more my lack of knowledge. So what is meant by decomposition analysis?
Decomposition analysis means I am finding out the trends over years about the energy intensity of industries, and as the literature suggests or the data suggests that yes, the energy intensity is coming down, but suddenly it is having an upward rising trend. So we have to study the original cause between this, that is whether the energy, there are large number of industry based during the 1980s 1990s which has come down in the recent times. So whether their shares have come down or whether they have declined their energy intensity over years.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Isha,
yes, sir, thank you. Vidisha, I want to ask one thing. Again, because the slides were not moving and you were using BHVL, so I couldn't make out what industries you have classified it in which manner. But 2-3 things. One is when you are talking about energy intensity that you are finding out through 2-3 methods. One was output method, the other was value added. First of all, why have you used all these 3 methods together? Are they indicating towards some different types of energy intensity consumptions? One. Secondly, you have said energy intensity in terms of fuel consumption, you said, right? That is what the slide mentioned that I could see. So what kind of, I mean, in terms of energy, have you considered petroleum? What kind of energy source have you taken into account when you have done this time series?
I have taken the ASI data, which gives us only the costs of using the fuel. So all the non-renewable resource fuel, they do not mention in particular that is petroleum or gas. They considered the cost of fuel they are utilizing per unit of output or in the manufacturing sector. So I have used that fuel cost in determining the energy intensity. And why GVA and the value of output? Because we want to see that what happens if we are introducing the value of output with respect to the fuel cost every per unit for the industries, and what happens if it is energy fuel cost divided by the GVA. We are just analyzing the two aspects, but our results are the same because there are variations in the formula. Majority will accept one formula and others might be accepting the other formula. So we have provided both the formulas for bringing about that the results are same.
Okay, great. So what do you, I mean, suggestions is obviously you have said there should be policy, policy should be devised for lesser energy consumption areas, but I believe it needs to be more specific, or you're talking about any specific industry or any specific firm or any specific nature of
overall energy, overall industries base of the country. All the industries are taken from the ASI data.
All right. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for the presentation, ma'am. Proceeding with the next presenter, presenting on renewable energy in India, current advancements and future potential, Mr. Karthik Govil and Mr. Bangi Yadav is here.
So good afternoon, everyone. Am I visible?
Yes.
Am I audible? Okay. Actually, my co-author is not able to join because she's having network issues right now, but she's still trying to, but I don't think it will happen. So should I proceed?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
if you can fill in for her, you can proceed.
Okay, sure. How do I present my screen?
Sir,
there is a share screen button. There's a share screen button towards.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So So in our paper, we have talked about how India can use renewable energy to essentially industrialize itself. And we focused on the issues that would come with transitioning to renewable energy. So energy is a basic requirement, and it is an essential part of the economy. And today, India uses 59.8% of India derives 59.8% of its energy from renewable sources. And if we are to change from renewable energy to from non-renewable energy to renewable energy sources, our main three sources of energy would be solar, would be wind, and would be hydro energy. But and also India has a huge deficit in its infrastructure. So around 70% of India's infrastructure is still yet to be built. And so this, in fact, presents itself as a really good opportunity for India to industrialize using renewable energy for the first time. So we don't have to destroy anything or like undo like older energy sources to build renewable energy. So yeah, so starting with solar. So India obviously gets a lot of sun. It's solar is obviously, I guess, the most feasible renewable energy source for India. And even though it is a clean and environmentally friendly source of energy, there are some issues such as land use. Solar panels take up a huge area, and because of this, if India was to switch to, say, solar energy for 100% of its requirements, then it would take up 2.5% of India's landmass, and being the 7th largest country in the world, that is a lot of land. Then there's the water use that so the solar panels are cooled using water, and these water sources are it is hard to use water in the cooling system in places that are arid and places where there is where water is not easily available. Then there's the issue of waste disposal. A lot of the waste of solar panels is toxic, and there's a lot of waste after a lot of metal waste after the solar panel has run its life cycle. So we need more area to dispose this waste as well. And also in Rajasthan, I think it's one of the biggest solar panels in the world. So after it was built, a lot of local biodiversity died because it took up a lot of land. And this biodiversity is obviously very unique to the desert region, and like even in other areas where we have put solar panels, a lot of other animals, like a lot of wildlife has been wiped away because of it. So this too poses an issue, or like and then there's hydroelectricity. So hydropower also has a great potential in India with a lot of rivers here. India's got the fifth largest. India is the fifth largest producer of hydroelectricity after, I think, yeah, after USA and China and a few other countries. So in hydropower, the challenges are that there's a lot of change in the hydrological regime of the river. There's a loss of biodiversity here as well. The migration of aquatic species gets interrupted, and it also interferes with the breeding patterns. Hydropower projects often lead to sedimentation and silting, and this interrupts water flow. And creating of infrastructure for it also requires blasting of land, and this creates tectonical weakness in the land. And so there's that. Then there's wind energy. Now India is the fourth largest producer of wind after Germany, USA, and China. And India currently produces 34 gigawatts. So the issues that we face with wind energy are like land diversions, So fertile. So like in Tamil Nadu, there was one wind farm that was made, and it was made on farmland, and a lot of farmers lost really fertile land, and they were not able to grow crops on it anymore. And it obviously is a loss for us because we can't farm on it, so we can't earn money from agricultural activity either. Then there's once again loss of biodiversity and wildlife. The many birds run into these windmills, and if we create offshore wind farms, then it creates artificial reefs. Then there's also disturbance in marine ecology if these plants are made offshore, and also climate change is a huge factor in hydro energy. So if we make 10% of the world's energy production produced by wind energy, then the overall temperature of the earth would go up by 1 degree. So there is clearly global warming which has to be factored in when we talk about wind energy. Then there are other renewable energies too, like geothermal energy and biomass that could be used by us. So now coming to the next part, that there have been many government schemes such as there have been many plans by the government and many government schemes and many programs, and also international collaboration by our government to switch to renewable energy sources such as COP26, One Sun, One World, One Grid. And there have also been other policies such as National Electricity Policy of 2005, Tariff Policy of 2006, and National Rural Electrification Policy of 2006. And we think that such policies, even in the future, would be a step in the right direction to help India industrialize using green energy and being the first country to do so. Yeah, so in conclusion, India should focus another thing, the solar and wind and hydro energy, they all come under whitelisted activity. So there is no check on whether these harm the environment or not. There's no regulatory body to look into this. So once again, of course, renewable energy is better for the environment than non-renewable energy. But even then, we need to look at the same factors that we've always looked at, which is environmental sustainability, whether using renewable energy is environmentally sustainable, whether it is economically sustainable, whether it is affordable or not. Obviously, technology in the past few years has improved a lot for renewable energy. India is, I think, the second largest exporter of solar panels after China. And so, I mean, it's clearly becoming cheaper and more efficient as time moves on. So, so that's a good thing. And then there's social sustainability. So we have to see that this energy reaches all sectors of society and is not concentrated to only a small elite or like only one demographic of like the population of India, but this energy should reach everyone. And so renewable energies are obviously getting more efficient. Like in 2010, the price for 1 watt of solar energy was 150, and today in 2020 it is only 15 rupees. And it's a relatively new field, so obviously advancement in this field would be great as well. So so keeping all these in mind, keeping how the environment can also be harmed using renewable energy, and planning accordingly for the future is the right way to move forward. And getting India to industrialize using renewable energy is a good end goal as well. And that's about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's interesting to hear about possible unintended negative consequences of adoption of renewable energies, and it's something that's often overlooked. And I was interested that you noted the absence of a regulator. And is that something that you would recommend?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, towards the end, you mentioned that there was no regulatory body that assessed the use of green energies and took account of possible negative impacts of them that you highlight in your paper. So is that something that you would wish to see, for there to be a regulatory body that had a role not only to promote renewable energies, but also to do so in a sustainable way?
Yes, I think that would be great. Also, renewable energy, mainly it's the same, how do I put it? It's the same sort of like it's usually wildlife that gets affected. Like there are common sort of parameters that are affected in the environment by renewable energy. So it would definitely be nice if there was a regulatory body specifically designed for looking into renewable energy sources.
Okay, thank you.
That would be a good idea. Yes.
So, Mr. Jyoti Kunj, you had said India is the second largest exporter of solar panels. So
Yes,
I'm not so sure about it, because there is a company called Vikram Solar. Have you heard of Vikram Solar? It's in
No,
Gurgaon.
sir.
It was owned by a member of parliament. They were the biggest producer of solar panels. It is on the verge of bankruptcy. But if India is actually second largest exporter of solar panel, it has made my day. So
Yes, sir, yes, sir, it is actually after China.
Right.
So we
Okay,
said with Saudi, UAE.
Yeah, since you have researched it, I accept it. So I'm very happy. So that's it. And you are not able to. Your partner was not able to join you. So
yes,
that perhaps explains some bit of hesitancy. But overall, a good job done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thanks for the presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. Proceeding with the next presenter, we have Ms. Bharti Kumari and Ms. Akshya, Solar Energy Addressing Legal Acne for a Sustainable Future. Ms. Bharti Kumari, ma'am. Okay, we move on to the next presenter, Ms. Hina, presenting on green entrepreneurship, the concept and evaluation.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, I'm just sharing my screen. Please confirm me, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, your screen is also available.
Okay, you're on the
thank you.
last slide. We can see your conclusion, but not your beginning.
Okay. Just a minute, ma'am.
Now it's all right, ma'am.
That's better, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hina, research scholar, Lovely Professional University, and assistant professor, Sanatan Dhanam College, Ambala, Kent. So today I'm going to present a review paper on the topic Green Entrepreneurship, the concept and evaluation. So first one is the abstract. I'm sorry. Yeah, first one, the abstract. Of course, we know the term green entrepreneurship has been introduced recently, like in 1970s, and gained a little attention in the late 1980s and 90s. So nowadays, customer is aware about the products which can harm them and which can affect the environment, and therefore they prefer environment friendly products. And gone are the days when businessmen were preoccupied with the aim of profit maximization only by ignoring other social factors. Although this concept is gaining popularity, still the research on green entrepreneurship is limited in one way or another. So purpose of my study is to assess, investigate, and synthesize the present view of the entrepreneurship in context of green entrepreneurship. And for this, we had reviewed literature methodology of eminent researchers. And research methodology used in this paper is descriptive. Secondary data was retrieved from the internet via journal research papers. And keywords are green entrepreneurship, green entrepreneurs, challenges, development, growth, and India. So next one is introduction. We know that entrepreneurship, what's the meaning of entrepreneurship? Of course, it defines a set of procedure. So moving towards green entrepreneurship, I just want to conclude it that it defines the ability of an entrepreneur that shifts the attention from traditional technique to modern method. Now we can see that government has initiated various programs, various policies to promote the entrepreneurship, but this is different from just a term entrepreneurship because this is related to environment friendly products, like which promote the usage of natural resources such as solar energy, wind energy, biogas. So now we know that everyone is concerned, every country is concerned for environmental issues and sustainable development. So in this line, we can say that the government is promoting green entrepreneurship nowadays, but there are so many challenges which an entrepreneur has to face. That starts from lack of knowledge, inadequate technology, insufficient funds, and lack of government support. So if an enterprise is green, of course, entrepreneur enjoys certain benefits like high level of customer loyalty, more profits, and moreover, inner satisfaction. So moving further, I just want to show it because my study is descriptive in nature and I had just reviewed so many papers. So first of all, I just want to show you that different researches on green entrepreneurship explains different concepts. Like I had studied Dale, that finding of that particular research scholar is green entrepreneurship is nothing but just a story through which the benefits from stakeholder can be taken. So here are so many researches in which they just summarize what is green entrepreneurship and what are the benefits of green entrepreneurship, and that is environment friendly, which positively impact the purchasing behavior of a person. And emphasis was given to environment friendly manufacturing, resources, supplies, and research and development, which results in green marketing strategies. Moving further, I can show you more studies in which they had explained briefly about the challenges and aspects of green entrepreneurship. Even one research scholar in 2014 explained that green business concept is just propounded by European Commission, which lays stress on sustainable development ecosystem. And someone said, no, market is initially market was producer oriented, but now it's a customer oriented and they are aware about the products which can harm them. So that leads to green entrepreneurship. And further, I can just show you the role of different organizations. Now I can explain you that so many organizations are there which are just promoting green entrepreneurship. And one conference, that is the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, that is Rio +20, that took place in Brazil on 20 to 22 June 2012. After that, we can see that so many entrepreneurs came in this particular line, and the result of the conference was which contains a clear and practical measures for implementing sustainable development. In this, member states decided to launch a process to develop a set of sustainable development goals, which will build upon the Millennium Development Goals and coverage with the post, we can say that the groundbreaking guidelines on green economy policy. And the result was that many entrepreneurs came in the market with their green product. like with the environmental issues such as climate change, scarcity of resources. So referred to as green entrepreneur, they aim to bring a change in the mindset of consumers by spreading awareness. And I can just tell you in brief, like in India also, after this conference, many entrepreneurs came. EcoRide, that was founded in 2017 in Ahmedabad, and that EcoRide has 18 product lines and 140 SKUs available. And they just started. Actually, entrepreneurs were Udit, Sood, and Nikita. Both were MBA from IIM Calcutta, and they just started to manufacture bags, and which are natural products. So it means green. I mean, which do not affect the natural resources. They just started. And second one, we had already listened so many times, chalk and chipples. Like in this, I mean, natural products, natural ink was used, soy-based ink was used, so that the impact on children will be minimum. So none of them run on batteries or chargers. Next, I can just tell you one more, that is Love Organically, and that was beauty manufacturing brand, 100% natural and chemical-free product. So that was Mumbai-based. And one more, sustainable goodies, that was introduced in 2010. So after this US conference, so many entrepreneurs in India even started green entrepreneurship, and that ultimately changed the concept, and that ultimately changed the thinking of particular entrepreneur or innovator and customer as well. So concluding this green entrepreneurship, we know it's an important topic, and I know I am just in initial stage. I had just reviewed the research paper. I had not done too much study. I know that. Actually, I had just started. So the paper just conclude the concept of green entrepreneurship and views of various researchers. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And I appreciate that you're at the start of your research, you've got quite a lot. So is green entrepreneurship mostly about producing environmental friendly products, such as, we've heard things about solar panels and things maybe like soya milk, or is it about improving existing ways of doing things, because there's still the bulk of the industrial sector is not concerned with producing these environmentally friendly products, and it's a need to move away from traditional means of production towards more environmentally friendly practices. So where's the focus of the papers that you looked at?
You're right, ma'am. It's both. I mean, producing natural resources, I mean, natural product, plus moving from traditional method to modern method, so that actually we see that some traditional machineries produce so many coal, I mean, biogas, energy, wasteful energy. So we can say that like moving towards modern technology also includes in green entrepreneurship, of course. We can say that if we are using modern techniques, then of course quite possible smoke will be minimum, and we can produce so many products. Even we can take the example like sugar cane. We produce sugar from sugar cane, and that may includes so many molasses. And if we use that particular molasses for producing, we use actually alcohol for alcohol product, but it includes so many chemicals and all that. If we are using natural products, then I think we will lead to green entrepreneurship towards that framework.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Hina ma'am, I liked your example of molasses. Natural product. Interesting.
Thank you so much, sir.
I think Dr. Jaswal is our expert on research methodologies. I am not, but I basically take it that this is then exploratory research. And then in your next stage of research, you would like to focus on one particular area. So it's a paper well presented. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for though I'm not that, that of an expert though, but still, since you have, first of all, thanks for the presentation and thanks for stepping into this area. We need more people reading about it and disseminating knowledge about this particular thing. So just as an input, since you have just started reading, I would also suggest if you can look into the concept of circular economy. So for instance, Adidas is coming up with launching their separate line of production where they will be manufacturing shoes made of mushroom skin, right?
Yes,
yeah. So I will that will give you a lot of leverage and add value to whatever whatever wherever you want to focus. But do look into the concept of circular economy.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
And try and combine both of them. Maybe that will give you better results.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your suggestions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Before concluding, I would like to invite our honorable chairs to address the gathering and share their valuable inputs and feedback. Please, sir.
Yes, well done to all the speakers. It's been very interesting and varied program. We've learned a lot about modern technology such as blockchain, things like solar panels, and how it's important to bear in mind that there can be negative consequences of these factors that need to be borne in mind and built into concepts of green entrepreneurship and sustainability. So thanks to all the speakers and especially those who kept to their allotted time.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for sparing your time for us.
You want me to go now or Dr. Isha?
Sir, please.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Himanshi, for being a good host, and Divan, and Ravina ma'am, and of course, Professor Rebecca for joining us, and Dr. Isha ma'am. All the papers were good. All the papers are good, but you know, there are some papers from whom you learn the most. So, like Kirutika Dhanapal, her paper I really liked, and Priyanka and Megha. So I kind of challenge them also, which is my nature, you know, being a professor, I try to challenge students. So they both came up with their answers very well. So Kirutika, if she is still there, Dhanapal and Priyanka and Megha, well done. All papers were good. Tintu spoke about urban sprawls. So I had wanted to ask her, what is one word on urban sprawls, the vernacular word in the local language, right? And Viraj talked about green accounting. Vidisha spoke about a subject which is alien to me, so I'll try to learn more. And SC Jyoti Punj will motivate me more to go into the solar panel sales. I quickly checked. Actually, we are an exporter. Huh? Hina also presented a paper which was more exploratory in nature. In my, just to take 2 more minutes from Dr. Isha, see this concept of ESG concept, which is catching up, environment, social and governance. It's a subject very close to me. Business ethics is my area of specialization. So everything about sustainability boils down to our conscience. You know, the governments can do what they want to do. Of course, they have a role. Professor Rebecca can guide us as a professor, or Dr. Isha can guide us. They have the role as a teacher. I basically more of a corporate person than teacher. I have a role, but eventually it's a conscientious decision. If you see, if I, Dr. Isha and Dr. Rebecca, we take a vow that we will have only 1 bags. Why do we need 5 bags? okay? And we will go for the concept of what is called the minimalistic concept, that I will have only 5 shirts and 5 trousers, and that's it. So I will be saving, and I will eat as much as it is good to keep me going. If we take these steps, this will have an exponential positive impact on the environment, but the economy will collapse. Okay. Every day in the class, I open my bottle of Diet Coke. So the students ask me, is it necessary? I'm inclined to cork it down and put it back again. So if we all adopted extreme measures of environment conservation, perhaps economy will go down, the markets will collapse. We will have to go back. Why do we need so much of air travel, for example? Okay, why does the family need 3 cars? Why does Dr. Jaswal needs 100 saris? Okay, so but if she will not buy saris, what will happen to the artisans whose livelihood depend upon people like her or people like Himanshi to buy clothes, right? So market is on one side, our own conscious efforts are on the other side, and environment is on the other side. When I used to be the roving editor for Rediff, so we did a lot of deliberations and we spoke with a lot of children from the schools. So there are no clear-cut answers, but sometimes environment takes care of market. If the market is going berserk, environment will, the nature will blow up something like coronavirus and bring everything to standstill. So these are forces we all have to introspect. The best thing about a symposium like this is all the students who are joining, it makes them think about it. And I think that's the lesson everyone takes from here. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Over to you, Isha ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Rebecca. Thank you, everyone, from blockchain to urban sprawls to solar panels and then green entrepreneurship. It was a great session. And yes, I would also like to thank everyone to limit themselves to the time allotted. And there's nothing much for me to add, especially after Professor Bish. Yes, it is a conscious decision at our end first. So I will also suggest everyone to please read about circular economy. That will give you real more insights and what's happening at international level to combat this problem at a different level altogether. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for inviting all of us. On this note, our 8th technical session for the International Symposium comes to an end, and we are eternally grateful to our dignitaries, Dr. Rebecca Perry, Dr. Sudhir Bish, and Dr. Isha Jaswal for sparing time for us and honoring us with their presence. And now I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the speakers for their participation and for sharing their valuable knowledge with all of us. With this, we conclude the event. Thank you for joining us. You may stay back to record your attendance by filling in the link posted in the chat box. Stay safe, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
We can leave now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ravina ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Divan and Himanshi. Thank you.